think the devil is responsible. People are evil, Mr. Constantine. People.
You're right.
One of the producers of Constantine 2 has shared a great update about the DC sequel. Nearly 20 years after the first Constantine film, Keanu Reeves is getting ready to return to the iconic role. Over the past few years, we've been getting slow updates about the sequel, making fans even more excited to see Reeves back as Hellblazer. In a recent chat with Comic Book, producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who worked on the original film and will be returning for the sequel, was asked about how things are going with Constantine 2. He revealed that the script is finished and joked, "It's in my inbox right now. Funny enough, I'm too scared to read it though. I want it to be good so bad. I'll probably read it in the next few days when I get on an airplane." This news very well hints that Constantine 2 seems to be making good progress, which gives hope for its eventual release. After all these years, it's clear why Warner Bros. Discovery and the team behind it are taking their time with the sequel. But with the script apparently finished, it looks like production could be getting closer to starting. Based on what Bonaventura said, there's a lot of pressure to make Constantine 2 a great follow-up, which shows how high the stakes are for this one. If the story for Constantine 2 is on a bigger scale, Warner Bros. Might be looking to increase the production value compared to the original 2005 film. The bigger question, though, is when they'll actually start filming, assuming the current script is the one they go with. With no release date set yet, it leaves you wondering when they'll actually see the movie. It wouldn't be surprising if the delay has something to do with how Constantine 2 fits into the Elseworlds brand, especially with the new DC Studios structure under James Gunn. Since his DC universe is the main focus, it'll be interesting to see how Reeves' Constantine 2 fits into the bigger picture. Hopefully, we'll get more updates on it soon. Before this, at Collider's Producers on Producing panel during the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con, screenwriter Akiva Goldsman shared that the script for Constantine 2 was still in the works and progressing smoothly. He also hinted that the sequel is aiming for an R rating, just like the original film. Goldsman explained that while the first Constantine was initially intended to be PG-13, it ended up with an R rating due to its demon content. He mentioned that if they'd known it was going to be R, they might have explored some of the darker themes in greater depth. Goldsman also noted that the team has been focused on bringing back key players from the original movie, especially Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz, who have both expressed interest in revisiting their roles. It's great to hear that Keanu Reeves is definitely coming back as John Constantine for the sequel. He's one of the most loved actors around right now, not just for his amazing films, but also for his viral good deeds. His career includes legendary movies like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Point Break, and of course, The Matrix. Since stepping into the role of John Wick, Keanu's popularity has only grown. Plus, he's also set to voice the fan-favorite character Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Keanu Reeves isn't the only one returning to the Constantine universe. Director Francis Lawrence is also coming back. Known for his work on most of the Hunger Games movies and I Am Legend, Lawrence is also attached to the long-awaited BioShock video game adaptation. The screenplay for Constantine 2 is being written by Akiva Goldsman, who also worked on I Am Legend. Beside these two, there haven't been any official casting updates for Constantine 2 yet, but it's pretty likely that some of the original cast will return. One actor who's at least talked about coming back is Peter Stormare, the veteran character actor who played the chilling version of Lucifer in the first film, and also had a cameo in John Wick Chapter 2. Stormare confirmed in a 2022 interview that discussions about him returning for the sequel have been happening for a while now. Tilda Swinton, who played the Archangel Gabriel in the original Constantine, gave a more uncertain answer about returning for the sequel. While she didn't say a flat-out no, she did mention that she hasn't heard anything about reprising her role. As for other potential returns, big names like Rachel Weisz as Detective Angela Dodson and Djimon Hounsou as Linton Papa Midnight could also make their way back for the follow-up. Now the only question is, what could be the plot for Constantine 2? In the original 2005 Constantine, John Constantine's life is saved from lung cancer after he tricks the devil and saves a life, essentially cleaning his soul after a suicide attempt earlier. Because of his good deed, he was set to go to heaven instead of hell. However, once Satan saw that John was headed to heaven, he decided to bring him back to life, thinking Constantine would eventually get into trouble again and end up in hell after all. With an ending like that, it seemed clear that the creators of Constantine saw it as a one-off. And with it being 19 years since Keanu Reeves last played the role, it pretty much has been. The good news is that the sequel can go in any direction with the story and doesn't have to pick up exactly where the first one left off. Given that over 20 years will have passed between movies, a fresh start is definitely the way to go. It's also worth noting that the original movie didn't stick to a single storyline from the Hellblazer comics. Instead, it mixed different aspects of the best issues, which worked out well. But in today's world of storytelling, the sequel might stick closer to a particular storyline, which could also set things up for a trilogy if Constantine 2 does well. With that in mind, there are a few potential storylines that could work for the next film. One is where Constantine is in prison. It's been well mentioned that they want to take the movie to a darker place, and one way to do that is by aiming for an R rating. As more comic book movies go this route, it gives them more freedom to explore different directions. One interesting storyline from the Hellblazer comics that could really work well with an R rating is the popular Hard Time arc, where John Constantine ends up in prison after being arrested and tried for murder. The reason he allows himself to get caught isn't revealed until the end, but there's plenty of action before that big twist. In this story, a prison revolt breaks out and the inmates take over the asylum. Some fans might be hesitant about seeing Constantine without his trench coat or cigarette, but there's a way to get him back into his usual gear quickly. With the prison revolt, Constantine could easily grab his stuff and get back to fighting demons or other evil forces, all while still stuck in the prison setting. Another direction Constantine 2 could go is with the Rockstar Constantine storyline. If James Gunn isn't into the idea of a prison setting, maybe the sequel could take a totally different path. One of the fan-favorite Hellblazer arcs features John's old band, Mucous Membrane. While they weren't super famous, they had a cult following. In the Newcastle Calling comics, the band is the subject of a documentary, but things take a dark turn when they're haunted by a demon slowly driving them mad. For now, James Gunn isn't giving any hints about the plot, so it's all speculation. A fun twist here is that Keanu Reeves is actually a musician in real life, so he could easily pull off the role of a band leader. It would be a big change from the first film, where Constantine kept a low profile, though some fans might find it hard to believe, since the original movie never hinted that Constantine was ever in a band. But since Mucous Membrane wasn't exactly mainstream, it makes sense it wasn't mentioned. Right now, the details for Constantine 2 are still a mystery, but if Gunn and the team decide to go with a familiar storyline, Hard Time and Newcastle Calling could be strong contenders. That's all for today. Let me know in the comments who you think is the better Constantine, Keanu Reeves or Matt Ryan. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. We'll see you next time.